Hello folks and welcome to the channel. So today I'm on my trusty BMW R1300RS. We're just going to pop down to my local BMW dealer, the Mansell Collection, and we're going to be demoing a bike which I've been trying to demo for a little while now. I think it's a stunning looking machine and I think it's one of the nicest bikes out on the market at the moment, for looks anyway, and that is the BMW R1300RS. And I believe that it is the performance version. That's the red, white and blue one, and I'll give you my first ride impressions. But before we do any of that, I think it's time to roll the intro. So let's get off the 1250GS and take the 1300RS out for a ride. This is then the R1300RS. I think what we're going to do is jump on the bike, and then what I'll do, I'm going to dial myself in actually, just get used to it, and then we'll continue with the filming. But I've got the key in my pocket, it's all keyless ride. Let's see if I can start this thing up. There we go, lovely screen, it's in neutral. Let's start it up. That lovely Boxer 1300cc sounding engine. Right, let's go and take it for a ride, and then give me about half an hour. Let me get used to it, and then we'll carry on with the video.
A few moments later.
Okay then, so here we are. I've been riding the bike for a couple of hours now, so I've got used to it. Everything's nice and warm. And what I will say is I really like the design and the styling. Unlike some sports bikes that are out there at the moment, Ducati and even the 1000RR, they've got all those bits sticking out for aerodynamic stuff, but I don't really get all that. But I think it looks really nice. It's just a very clean looking machine, so I like that. Yes, I really do like that. So this is the performance model. Side stand, very nice, easy to bring up, and I have no problems flat footing it, as you can see. And I think the seat height on this is 815 millimeters. You can get a low seat for 790, and you can go high to maybe give you less of a bend in the knee, and that high seat will take you up to 845 millimeters. But have a chat with your dealer. It may just be a little bit higher than the normal seat because it's the performance model, not too sure. But even if it is a bit higher than the standard 815 millimeters, I can still flat foot it. Anyway, keyless ride, and let's just turn everything on, and we see that very nice 6.5 inch TFT BMW Motorride Make Life a Ride. And we'll just pop it into, let's just put it into neutral. BMW, they just make some really nice dashes, and let's start it up. So currently I've been riding it in rain mode, but you can still get a wiggle on in rain mode actually. So let's just go to my normal mode, which is I'm just going to leave it in dynamic, which is fine. And in relation to the mirrors, yeah, they're mounted on the fairing here. They're not as good as the GS mirrors, but they're okay, and I won't say any more than that. Into first gear, a little bit on the clunky side. Some people say that the gearbox is really quiet and smooth. Okay, maybe they're wearing earplugs. Anyway, what I will say is I really like the bike straight off the bat. It's a nice machine. So this is billed as a, I'm just going to look behind me. This is billed as a sports tourer. This is the performance model. So let's just take it right back. Well, how many versions are there? So BMW have got 4 versions of the 1300RS. You can go at the basic level, which is the blue one, and I'm going to put the prices and the specs up with each of the bikes. If you look at the information on the website, man, you can get so confused about which bike has got what on it and which bike hasn't got what, and when you buy this pack, what comes with that pack and what doesn't come with that pack. Anyway, so the basic one is the blue one up here, and then if you want to spend a bit more dosh, you can go for the triple black, which has a few more black bits, namely the exhaust, I think, and the colour, obviously, and that's £750 more or something like that. And then my kind of favourite of all of them, really, which I think is about another £2,000, is this one here. It's kind of a grey colour. I really like that. I don't know how easy that is to source, but that is my preferred colour. I just think that looks very classy. And this, folks, is a premium machine. Make no bones about it. And then finally going on to this R1300RS Performance. The Performance version then, red, white and blue. You get fancy seats. You've got, what else you got? You've got fancy wheels. And you've got slightly bigger suspension or taller suspension to give you more lean angles. So I guess it means that the cylinders are slightly higher, so you don't scrape them down as early as maybe the other versions. But even if it's a slightly taller bike, maybe that's why the seat height is slightly taller. But I can still flat foot it, absolutely no problem. And with that sports kind of seat, it's a very comfortable place to be. The riding position on this one, I have actually ridden the previous version of the RS, the 1250 RS. I'll put a link up here. I really liked it. It's the kind of bike that gets overlooked for whatever reason, but that was a very nice bike. And this is also a very nice machine as well. Now, if you read the BMW spiel, it says that it's got more sporty riding position than the previous generation bike. And you know what, I've been riding it for a little while now, and where I live we have quite restricted speed limits, and so I've been riding it slowly and I haven't had any pains in my wrist at all. They say that the feet are slightly further up and you're leaning further forward, but do you know what? No, I haven't experienced any discomfort at all. So I think it's going to be a comfortable machine for doing, you know, mileage on. But anybody who's got one of these, because if you've got one, you normally watch videos about the bike that you've bought, make some comments down below. But for me, I haven't had any issues with this whatsoever. So they built this bike as a sports tourer, and I have to say, yeah, I think they pretty much nailed that on the head. Actually, it is quite sporty and it is comfortable, so you can ride it in a sporty fashion, get a wiggle on, and you can do some miles on it as well without being uncomfortable. So I think, depending on what you're in the market for, I think it's going to be a cracking bike. Oh yeah, and as it's a performance version, it's got stickier tyres on as well. So let's just turn down here. It's not the quickest turning in bike by any stretch of the imagination, but it's okay, it's good. Yeah, it's a great place to be actually. You can certainly have lots of fun on this. So it's a sports tourer then with that BMW Boxer engine, which came out, was it last year? I have to refresh my memory on that one. So we all know now, I'm not going to go through what the frame is and all that. It's got a sheet metal frame, then a aluminium subframe bolted onto the back of it, and then you've got the new 1300cc 145 horsepower, 149, is it, newton meters of torque. So it's the new Boxer engine. The gearbox sits below it, so it's a shorter engine, and it just goes very well. It's nice and smooth, and it has got plenty of low down punch. I mean, you can ride it from 2,000 to 4,000 revs, and you open the throttle up. I am in dynamic mode. Throttle response very nice. Lots of infill of tarmac down here, so it's quite a bumpy road, and the suspension is absolutely, well, I'm not even having to think about the suspension. So to me, if you're not thinking about something, then it must be doing a good job, and the suspension is doing a cracking job, and it is the slightly taller suspension because it is the performance model, and I think you also get blingy brakes with it as well, with those the red lettering on the calipers, and they are more powerful. And that throttle response, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I have put it in rain mode, and it does kind of dial the power back, but you can still get a little bit of a wiggle on. Yeah, not overly impressed with the mirrors, just making sure it's clear to get through, and it is. There we go. But dynamic mode, still one for using the clutch at times. Yeah, it's nice. You come off the throttle and it doesn't wiggle. You know, like the old, certainly my GS, you come off the throttle and you can feel the bike wiggle in the middle kind of thing. But this, absolutely solid. Through neutral into second, third. Yeah, it turns well, goes well. Yeah, it's good. The unladen weight is about 245 kilos. Folks, we can all look at weights of bikes and go, that's really heavy. You just got to sit on it, move it around. Some bikes are quite deceptive in how they portray their weight. 245 kilos, it's not a lightweight bike. But you know what? Nah, you can't really feel it. Maybe if you dropped it and you had to pick it up, but it's fine. We look at figures, don't we, and we go, oh, it's a really heavy bike. But you have to get on it, sit on it, move it around and see whether or not it is actually heavy. Because obviously the RS engine, the Boxer engine is low down in the frame, so it carries its weight low down. Yeah, it turns in well. Do like the throttle response, and that suspension is very good as well. Really nice. One thing I don't like is the screen. You can't, it does pivot up, but you have to be stationary basically, both hands to pull it up. And I think you get a couple of extra screens with the performance model. But the suspension wise, it is laughing in the face of all these ruts and bumps. And the brakes, I think the bike's done about 100 miles. But the brakes are nice and predictable. Nice bit of bite to them. There's very little weight coming onto the wrist, so it's not uncomfortable. Some riders have said it is uncomfortable, but no, I think it's fine. Although they say it's a slightly racier dynamic position compared to the previous model, it's still fine. I would have no problems with doing a day in the saddle on this whatsoever. Now that engine then, that 1300cc Boxer engine, it is super smooth, but the gearbox is I still find it a little bit clunky, maybe because it's still new, it needs to bed in a little bit. But again, if you've got one, please make some comments. But super smooth engine. And the fact is, the BMW with that Boxer engine, people, I would say, I just like the fact that it just pulls from low down. You can be lazy with it, and that's why I think people go for the Boxer engine, because it's a nice smooth engine, tractable with bags of torque. And let's face it, lots of speed enforcement, speed restrictions on the road, so you can't really ride too fast these days, can you? But this is we just like the BMW Boxer engine. Very little vibration being felt through, what's that, load of grass or something? Very little vibration being felt through the bars. And I have got the heated seat on and the heated grips on as well, because it's a little bit chilly at 16 degrees on this October day. So great engine. The gearbox does make a little bit of a whine when you're going slowly. You can hear the gearbox whirring away, but the shaft drive, absolutely love the shaft drive. And I think that's why people go for the BMWs, because there's no chain maintenance and all that stuff, which includes potentially a little bit of faff, although chains have got significantly better. But I do like a shaft. I think it redlines at, what's that, just below 9,000 revs. To be honest, I don't know how often you're going to be up there. You're going to be around 6,000-7,000, I would have thought, just getting a little bit of a wiggle on. Unless you want to get the RR, BMW 1000 RR, which is a totally different beast, which I've not ridden. There was one in the showroom with all those fancy wing things out the side. Yeah, they're different beasts, aren't they? I'm just a fan of the Boxer engine, but I think if you're still want a little bit of sportiness in your ride, then maybe have a look at the R1300RS. That suspension then, so it's the performance bike. It's got the slightly taller suspension for a bit more ground clearance. Absolutely no issues with it at all. I think it's semi-active, and it's got some other fancy automatic spring rate adjuster thing that it does. And all I can say is it's a really comfortable ride, and I'm in dynamic mode at the moment, and it's a good place to be. One thing I'm not overly keen on, and this is just my personal preference, is these short levers that come with the performance bike. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those, but some people really like them, and it sounds fine from that exhaust note. I'll try and put a sound bite or something up here of the exhaust, but it's not an offensive exhaust note. It's all right. And in relation to wind being generated from the screen, not an issue at all there, and it's in the low position, and I think you get some other screens as well with the performance bike. Shall we just have a listen to how it sounds? Let's tick over. Kind of sounds all right, doesn't it? And there's the lights. Front looks nice, do like that. Do like the LED lights at the front. And the back. And that, folks, is what the R1300RS sounds like. So let's get back on the bike, a bit more of a ride, and then take it back to the showroom. I think she is a good looking bit of kit, actually. And just see what I mean about the screen here. It's a two-handed job. You can't lift it up with one hand. It's got to be a two-handed job. So before you move off, you've got to put that screen in the desired position. So let's just put it down. Right, bit more of a ride, and then take it back to the dealership. Fire it up. Somebody's been doing lots of donuts around here. The Boxer engine then, it's a great engine, plenty of torque to it, plenty of power, and this thing absolutely goes like a missile. I think it does about 151 or 2 miles an hour, but speed these days is pretty irrelevant. It's really what it can do in the mid-range, isn't it? But it's a very quick machine, 6,000 revs onwards. It absolutely flies. It really took me by surprise as to how quick it was, and I'm not going to show you that on camera. But if you want to go really quickly, this machine can go really quickly. The gearbox, I'm going to say, people that might slate me for it, I'm going to say that it is not the smoothest of gearboxes. It blips on the way down. So I'm using the quick shifter or assist pro, whatever they call it. Yeah, it blips on the way down. And yeah, I still do find it clunky. But maybe the higher up the rev range you go, the smoother it becomes. But if you've got one, as always, please make some comments down below. But as an overall machine, very impressive. It's certainly quick enough. Man, how much power do you want? 145 horsepower, 149 newton meters of torque is fast enough for anybody, I would suggest. A little bit of a whine from the gearbox there. We like it a lot. And it's not cramped, so sports tourer, yeah, it's sporty, you can hustle it along. It's not the quickest steering of bikes, and the suspension is absolutely superb. I really like the suspension. Again, we've not touched on the electronics. There's so much on here. It would just be another video. What I will say is, though, I mean, this day and age, again, make some comments down below. The GS, is it time that they did away with the telly lever at the front and just put this, decent suspension like this? That's got to be lighter, isn't it? And then you may get more road feel, because certainly I know what the front tire on this bike is doing, because it's got standard suspension, albeit semi-active upside down stuff. But maybe, I don't know, is that a step too far for BMW to change the front suspension of the BMW GS, the mighty GS, and go conventional? When you change gear, just tap the lever. If you hold your foot there on the lever too long, it kind of lurches a little bit. Talking of warranty, 3 years. Maybe they should be looking at 4. But I think you can buy extra years. 2 up, not sure what that's going to be like. And luggage, yeah, you can get luggage for it. Not sure the price of that. If I can find out, I will whack it up here how much the luggage is. But as a sports tourer, yeah, it's going to be a good machine. And the price of this, we may have said it in the video, I think with So this is the performance, and it's got the comfort pack, which I think that gives you the heated grips, heated seats, tyre pressure monitoring. So I think we're up to currently £19,000. That's the UK price including VAT. So it's not a cheap bike. And compare it to, who would we compare this bike to? I guess the Kawasaki 1100s. And that's about £14,000 or thereabouts. So a bit of a difference there. But then I guess at the end of 3 years, which bike is going to be worth more? I guess the BM's going to be worth more. Must be a rugby match on. One thing I'd certainly like to see is BMW just backlight your switchgear, guys. There's no reason not to have it backlit, certainly when you're forking out £19,000 for a machine. So folks, what are my final thoughts then on the BMW R1300RS Sports Tourer? Well, I think it's a sporty bike, and I think BMW have done a very good job on it. So from the sporty point of view then, it's got that 145 horsepower engine, 149 newton meters of torque, and it absolutely can be a missile if you want it to be a missile. And how fast do you want to go, and how much power do you want? I don't know, but this is enough for me, and all I know is that I want a bike that's going to be comfortable on. I'm not going to have aching wrists, aching back, and an aching neck from having to lift my neck up from riding a sports bike. But this is a sports tourer. I think is absolutely bang on the money. It's got enough power to have lots of fun on it, and it's a comfortable machine as well. And I think you can do some big mileage on this bike as a tourer as well. I wouldn't have any issues doing 600 or so miles on the bike at all. Not a problem. And that 17-litre tank will get you about 170 miles or thereabouts until the reserve light comes on, and then you can go another 50 odd miles until you have to push it. So from full tank to empty for the touring part, you're going to have to push it at 220 miles or thereabouts. The fuel consumption was 4.8 litres for every 100 kilometres, and whatever that works out as, it's about 56 miles to the gallon or something like that. So 220 miles is the fuel range, which is more than enough for me and my bladder. So that's it, folks. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Just about to arrive back at the BMW dealership. Make some comments in the comment section down below. It certainly helps other people out, and it helps the channel grow as well. And do all that YouTube stuff. Click the like button on whatever you have to do, and subscribe. That would be really helpful. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, depending on when I get this video out, or enjoy the rest of the week. Ride safe, and we'll see you again soon in the next video. And that has been BMW's R1300RS, and here we are back at the Mansell Collection. Very nice place to work, this, I would suspect. And if you want something more sporty, then go and get something like the 1000RR with the funny wing things on the side. Anyway, that has been the R1300RS. Nice job, BMW. Nice job. Oh.